Hi, I'm Lita Leapins.
And I'm Jim Gordon.
Welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, folks, we are back at a restaurant we haven't filmed in a couple of years, and they're celebrating their 20th anniversary. It's Coast Restaurants.
Yes, and they've done some great renovations as well as some new menu items that we're going to check out.
Lita won the draw again, so after you watch this, she'll check out Cocktails with Sarah.
Well, I got the long straw, or did I get the short straw? No, I got the good straw. So I get to do the cocktail segment with Sarah. Thanks for having us. We have some great cocktails to try here at Coast Restaurant. Ryan has mixed up some beauties. Tell us about what's behind us.
Yeah, so we're very lucky to have a great and creative team putting together our cocktails here. These are some cocktails that we'll be featuring through the springtime and into early summer. So first up, we could talk about our London Fog Sour. So this is for cocktail lovers and tea lovers alike. A sour is made with egg white, so it's a beautiful frothy drink, silky smooth texture. We infuse the gin in-house with Earl Grey tea, and the drink itself is finished with an orange bitters.
Oh, so it's like having afternoon tea, I think.
Sure is for adults.
Definitely. What's the second drink that Ryan made us?
Our second drink is our Midnight Manhattan. So this is rich and powerful and bold. If you're looking for a full flavor, this is definitely a cocktail for you. We infuse Woodford bourbon in-house with cherries. And this is a little take on a Black Manhattan. So a Black Manhattan has bitters in it. We're using Averna. So Averna is an Amaro from Sicily. It gives us this rich texture and flavor, and really balances out a lot of the richness that you'll find from the infused bourbon as well.
I mean, well, I have to admit that I've had the next one you're going to talk about, and it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I think this one's really great for our program. This is our Sake Colada. So for those of you that are missing the beach or wanting something a little tropical this time of year, the Sake Colada is beautiful. We use a Junmai style sake. So Junmai sake is traditional and no alcohol added to it. So it's a traditional fermented sake, which we blend with yuzu, and yuzu is a Polynesian citrus. It's very commonly used in Japanese cuisine, as well as in drinks. So this has fresh, bright flavors, lots of fruit, and is really, really refreshing. And we serve that over crushed ice.
It is absolutely delicious. I have to attest to that. Now, you have a great wine program too. Just in the last bit we have here left.
Yeah. So we've really sort of extended the wine program here in the new year. We want to offer great selections from British Columbia. So there'll be classic selections like Boring Owl, which you will see on our menu, and then more unique finds like from Komina, their Gruner Veltliner. So Gruner is an Austrian grape varietal, which we don't see here in the Okanagan, but Komina does an incredible job, and we're very, very excited to feature it. Some new reds and whites, also internationally. So classic areas like Sancerre or Chablis, two great regions that produce white wines in France. Then you'll also see some Tuscan wines as well. So a little Chianti from Tenuta di Arceno, as well as the Promise from Gaia, which is a lovely full-bodied selection. And again, with more classics from BC and from California as well.
Fantastic. Well, it's a perfect complement to some of the new menu items, which we are going to be exploring a little bit later. And I'm going to let Jim join me this time. Thanks, Sarah.
Well, one of our longest and most enjoyable partnerships on the 8-year history of Our City Tonight has been with the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Canada, West. And I'm joined by Alex Martiniak. Alex, what is your title? I've known you 100 years.
Director of Trade Promotion.
Okay. We are here to cover another great event with our friends. It's Taste of Italy. We're here at, we're atop of the Harbor Center at Vancouver Lookout. Great view of the city, but we're here to talk about great authentic Italian wines, food. Alex, for our viewers at home, tell all about this great event.
Well, wonderful. This is a very special event because we're doing it for the first time, and in collaboration with the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Houston, in Texas. They've been doing this event called Taste of Italy for 9 years, and so they've asked us, can we do the Canadian edition? There you go. So we said, of course, yeah, let's collaborate on this. Let's organize the first Canadian edition of this show. So it's Taste of Italy is about not just usually we do either the food or the wine. This one is combined food and wine, and it's combined trade and consumers.
And how we've been, as I said off the top, we've been partners with you guys for a long time. There was a very kind of standstill period with COVID where these kind of events weren't happening, but you guys were still getting the word out about the brand and about great authentic Italian food. But how great is it to have these events back over the last 6-8 months?
I have to say it's quite amazing because, and as you may know, during the COVID we've organized virtual events.
Right.
We even organized virtual wine tastings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. It's not the same thing. So now with this event, guess what? We've had over 350 trade representatives registered for this event, which is huge because we only have about 20 vendors, right? So it's not such a huge event, but it's authentic, and it's people are really looking for authentic wines and foods, coming to town. So it's an in-person event. It's completely different when people can talk to each other in person, right?
Well,
that's why it's so popular.
Case in point, I got here and you said, Jim, I got to get you to try this great wine, which I'm holding right now. So, well, actually, cheers, sir.
Well, it's amazing wine.
Oh, this is fantastic. Taste of Italy, I should say. Let's go meet some of the Italians and Canadians that are here at this great event.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, you can't go to something called Taste of Italy without talking about food. And if you have shopped in Bosa Foods before, you know they got great food. Scott joins us from Bosa. Scott, I just said I was at your location the other day.
Yes.
For people that aren't experienced with your food and your brands you bring in, because authentic taste, Italian taste, is very important to what you guys do.
Absolutely.
Let our viewers know about what you guys are all about.
Well, we are the best and the biggest in the Mediterranean, Italian, European food imports, and we scour the whole country for all the finest, prosciuttos, the finest cheeses, the pastas, the sauces, and basically it's all keyed around the Mediterranean diet, which is freshness and quality. So if you're looking for olive oils, the finest cheese selection in Western Canada, you're going to want to stop by Bosa Foods.
You know, it's interesting too, and I don't mean this in a snobby or arrogant way, but it's amazing that people will like something, and then like with wine, it's an education of try this cheese, try these noodles, try this sauce, try this. It really helps, especially when it's much more organic, much more natural, less chemical based.
Sure.
And that's really what you guys are about, yeah?
Absolutely. It's easy to find these kind of things when you're working with European products. There's no GMOs. There's very healthy production practices, and that's why if you read the labels on these products, it's very clean labels, healthy lifestyle, as close to getting it from your garden as possible.
Where can people find your location?
We have 2 stores. One's on Victoria Drive on the corner of Franklin and Victoria in East Vancouver. And then you want to come to the flagship store. That's on 1465 Kootenay Street in Vancouver, just off Boundary and First Avenue.
I was there the other day, spent a lot more money than I planned to, but it's all good. It's good quality food.
You got quality.
I sure do. Hey, it's Scott from Bosa Foods, part of the Taste of Italy coverage we're doing here on Our City Tonight. So you are basically the equivalent of Alex, who we talked to earlier, only in Houston, Texas. How is the Italian market, food and wine, in the Lone Star States?
Yes, I'm actually the equivalent of Alex in Houston, Texas. Texas is a big city, it's a big state. They say everything is bigger in Texas,
sure
as they
is.
say, and it sure is true. In the Italian food and wine items, market is growing. It's been growing at double digits in the last 12 years. according to the last statistics I've been reading. So there's a lot of room for new items, especially the undiscovered regions, which are outside of the Golden Triangle, as I say, like Tuscany, Piedmont, Veneto. All the other regions have a lot of room for growth.
It is good to see you here, sir, supporting our city, doing what you're doing in your city in the big Lone Star State. Mauricio, enjoy Vancouver, and thank you for joining us.
I certainly am. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's not often that I go to wine events with our friends at the Chamber of Commerce and I run into somebody who's in town from Winnipeg midwinter. That's not a bad deal. Rosanna's here. Rosanna, you bring in, move out a lot of wines. You're here to say, what, check out some wines that maybe you could take back to Manitoba?
Yes, for sure. It's 100% that way. We don't have representation from the Chamber of Manitoba anymore. And Alex is doing a great job representing the Italian community. And why not use this opportunity to bring a little bit of Italy from BC to Manitoba?
Do you find in cities, rural areas, Manitoba, less population clearly than BC,
Yes.
that people are wanting to taste better and experiment with more upscale wines once they get exposed to it?
Yes, I wouldn't say the rural area so much. We do still have a very significant Italian community present.
In Winnipeg, yeah.
In Winnipeg, the old school 1950s, 60s. So they are always looking to find better Italian wines. You know, everybody talks about Toronto, everybody talks about Vancouver, and we miss out in Manitoba. So
Yeah.
my job is to make sure we're well represented in the Italian industry and in the market, and bringing new innovative wines into our community in our city.
Well, I'm going to let you get back to that. Thank you very much. And thanks for coming to Vancouver. It's always sunny
Thanks
here,
for
as you can
having
see
me.
outside.
I mean, I brought the sun. I am from Manitoba, so I packed that. I heard you had snow, so I made sure
Excellent.
there was sun.
Well, we're getting in the mix of things right now. I'm with Tony, who has a white wine I just tried. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven, Tony. Tell us about what I just had and your company and where people can find your wine.
Well, first off, thank you for having me on this. The Andra Wine Group, we specialize in working with small family estate vineyards in Europe, mainly Italy. The first of our wines, which shares my last name, is Boccale from the family Valentini in Montefalco, Umbria.
Hey, how important are events like this now that they're back? Touch wood. You can always do things virtually, but the amount of conversations I'm seeing you have with people trying your wines, you can't put a price on that.
No, you can't, because wine and food in general, you have to experience it. It's an experience. Take, for example, where we are. You shoot around the panorama. You're among like people who love wine. So it's a social aspect. When you're doing it on Teams and Zoom and God knows what else you're on, you're experiencing in your own little closet, and you have your own little glass of wine, and you're only hearing and seeing, but you're not feeling it. And here, when you're here at the event, you can look around. People are socializing, they're feeling, they're experiencing, and there's no lag time. There's no lag time.
That's right.
When we communicate, there's no lag time. When you're communicating digitally, there is lag time. And so you're not sure if the person likes it or doesn't like it. Here, it's immediate, it's in your face, you like it or you don't like it.
Excellent.
As you just
I tell you, I'm gonna have another glass of that. We'll have all Tony's information in the closing credits.
Trebbiano.
Excellent.
Yeah, Trebbiano.
Talking to more folks here at the Taste of Italy event. We have a gentleman here who is here, I think, for the first time. Roberto?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Roberto Cane, and I'm the export manager of Vitecolte Winery in Barolo, Italy, Piedmont. And I am the person in charge of the US and Canadian market for the winery.
I was just told, too, that being our first time here, you do distribute your wine from Italy, which I've had a little taste of, but this is your first time bringing the wine to our city. So that's a big deal, thanks to the Chamber.
Yes, absolutely. Our winery has, I would say, pretty strong distribution all over Canada, but unfortunately we were missing a good agent here in British Columbia. So thanks to the partnership with the Italian Chamber of Commerce, we've been able to spend a nice afternoon here with a number of very well-established importers and agents.
So you're in Piemonte. What am I about to try here?
We are trying one of our best-selling wines. This is a Barbaresco Riserva 2015, one of the most classic red wines from Piemonte region, made with the famous Nebbiolo grapes, which is the same grape we used to produce the other famous wine, del Barolo. So
that is exquisite.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Roberto. Welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you. Beautiful city. Thank you.
Talking with a local guy on the scene, Luigi. We've met a number of times at events such as this. Tell us about what I'm about to have and who you work for.
Okay, it's Luigi. I'm working for Style Brands, and today I'm pouring you wine from Tuscany. It's called Le Macchiole Bolgheri Rosso. It's a blend of 3 different grape varietals. They're mostly international varietals. They've been planted in Tuscany, so it's international wine with an Italian touch to it. And it's made of Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and Syrah in equal parts. It's a little bit of wood involved in this production, but it's a great little wine from a very important wine producing country in Italy. Yeah.
Another winner. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
And people can find your wines in liquor stores, government stores, wine stores?
Yes, these wines are listed at government stores, BC liquor stores, mostly the signature ones, because this is a kind of a mid-tier wine. But I'm sure you will find it in the best government liquor store.
Well, it's getting a little loud in here, pretty crowded, but it's good to see events like this back again. And our city tonight, proud to be back with the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Canada West for a great taste of Italy.
Thank you.
Well, we do have several print versions of our television show, in particular, the Richmond Sentinel.
Check out great, we think great, interviews with people that have appeared on our show. You can also check out video segments. It's all part of our partnership with the Richmond Sentinel. Well, back here where we began the show at Coast Restaurant, I have been allowed to join the culinary party here at Coast. Chef is joining us now. Oh my God, this looks spectacular.
What a spread. And we have Chef Fernando with us, executive chef of Coast Restaurant. You've got some new items that you've just introduced onto the menu, and Jim and I got the pleasure of trying some of this at your 20th anniversary party and the relaunch of your restaurant. So we're going to go right to this beautiful dish. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me in.
Oh, our pleasure.
Here we have one of our new sushi rolls. It's a A5 Wagyu strip loin with lobster, yellowfin tuna. Then we torch it to the end, and it gets presented to the guests like that.
Beautiful.
It goes with a side of a spicy mayo as well.
We should say, and we feature this every time in our episodes when we come here every couple of years, you guys make spectacular sushi here. I don't know how many people know that, but it's a wonderful addition to your restaurant.
Yeah, we actually have a very strong sushi chefs, and they work really hard to present all of this.
Yeah.
Our sushi chefs have been here for almost like 13 years.
Wow, well, we definitely know Max.
Yeah.
All right, this, boy, it's way over there. It's got to be closer to me.
Well, this is one of our new additions to the main courses. Here we have our Chilean sea bass Wellington. So we take it, usually Wellingtons will be done with meat, but obviously since we are a seafood restaurant, we try to take it onto a different level.
Beautiful.
So we portion our Chilean sea bass, and then we stuff it with the spinach, the mushroom duxelle, and then we roll it into the puff pastry. We cook it almost around 20-25 minutes at 400 degrees, and then we take it out of the oven. We serve it with a carrot puree, some chive beurre blanc, and some seasonal vegetables, in this case, carrots and asparagus.
Delicious. This is a fascinating dish. Tell us about this.
So this is a Argentinian prawn carpaccio. It seems like obviously it's very square and rectangular. So all we do is we get our prawns, we press them down, and then we roll them up. into 2 sheets. That way we are able to cut them into a rectangle. All we do after that is we spread some olive oil on the top, we torch it so it's not completely raw, it has that sort of like half cooked, half raw, and then we dress it. For the dressing we use miso mayo, we use chili and garlic paste, we use some pea tendrils, some radishes, and a little bit of rock salt just to finish it.
This is cruel putting this wonderful dish, the seafood dish of paella in front of me, and I can't touch it.
Yeah, one of your signatures for sure. This has been around since July of last year.
Yeah.
Fairly new.
Yeah, fairly new. We launched it on July. We've been doing this every Sunday. So every Sunday we will have the paella available for everyone that wants to come.
Oh.
We can cater, usually we do 2 to 4, but if there is a big party of like 8, 10 people, we have different sizes of paella, so we can cater for bigger
I
size.
think this is just good enough for myself, so yeah.
Yeah, no, why bother sharing?
No sharing, no.
If you're a regular
Tell us-
viewer of this show, you know that Lita always does that.
Tell us what is included.
So all it's in there. So we obviously I bring the rice from Spain. So it's not. This is called bomba rice. It's a particular type of rice. It's a shorter grain. It absorbs very well the liquids.
Right.
So all your important is on the stock. When you are kind of making paella, you want your stock to be flavorful. For this dish, we are using lobster stock. So we get lobster bones. We make a stock with the lobster bodies, and we use that to cook that paella. The process is fairly simple. We start with our tomato sauce. Then we add our rice, all our paprika, paella seasoning. We follow with the saffron. And then we start adding on the same pan the shellfish. So we use like lobster, honey mussels, which are local from BC. We use clams, we use prawns, we use a bit of calamari on the base as well. Roughly, it takes around 18 to 20 minutes to cook from start to finish.
That's okay.
That's one worth waiting for.
I was going to say, and this is something Lita always asks, but I'll do it now. What basically, do you have a good gluten-free menu here?
We usually cater for options, but some of the the sushi roll is gluten-free, the carpaccio is gluten-free, the paella is gluten-free, the Wellington unfortunately not because we have the puff pastry on it.
That's too bad for her.
But we do cater for like gluten-free, dairy-free. We take that into consideration every time.
Yeah, all the good restaurants.
Yeah, and we should also mention a really good selection of food on your happy hour menu too. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you, Chef. We can't wait to taste some of these wonderful items again.
Thank you.
Well, hello. I just wanted to take a moment and say hi to our great audience. Please take a moment on social media as well. You can follow us on our Instagram page as well as our Facebook page at Our City Tonight, but also all past episodes of Our City Tonight are available on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. It certainly helps us out a lot on the show. So take care and back to the show. Well, we are still here at Coast Restaurant and all this wonderful food is out in front of us and you're the man responsible.
I don't know
all
about
of
responsible, but I guess I'm the guy that started the whole thing.
You did. We couldn't leave. Some of our viewers may recognize this man. Imad is the head guy here with the Global Restaurant Group. We wanted to have you on before we left because we were here recently for a great anniversary for you guys, and in the restaurant industry, that's an eternity, and that's your 20th anniversary. Talk a bit about
20
Coast.
years, institution. We call them an institution. When the restaurant survive more than 10 years, we're becoming an institution.
That's so true.
So that was always our goal. Is the minute we hit the 10 years, we're becoming an institution. So
that's fair enough.
We're very, very proud and blessed and happy.
Well, not only did you hit the 20th anniversary, you did a great big reno here too.
Yes.
Tell our folks.
The problem with restaurants get tired very quickly, especially if it's a busy restaurant like Coast here. So you need to refreshing the restaurant all the time. So this technically is our second refreshing to the restaurant because when we moved it from Yaletown to here 12, 13 years ago, we did the massive renovation to reopening, and then we had to refresh the place to get it for hopefully for the next 20 years. We changed lots of, we just wanted to make sure created better private rooms because corporate business always looking for private rooms, so we created a couple extra private rooms. changed that This is used to be more like the clubby section in the restaurant, so we're getting old now, so we don't want any clubby areas in the restaurant, so we took over that.
Yeah.
We changed it because of the demand of more people want to come in for dinners.
Sure.
And it's actually, we're very happy with the renovation.
And as you mentioned, your private rooms upstairs, where we have certainly been part of private parties. I mean, as you mentioned, you really did a great job on renovating those as well.
Yes. Yeah, it was very important to us through all our restaurants groups that every restaurant of ours should have a great couple, 2 or 3 private rooms. That's what we're aiming for right now.
Well, definitely the Global Group is a huge success story. You've got a lot of great restaurants that Jim and I both love very
Way
much.
too much, actually.
We've been blessed.
Yes. Hey,
Definitely.
congratulations. Check out the websites for all the restaurants. They're all over the Vancouver area. Iman, thanks for stopping by.
No problem.
For
It's a
this.
pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.
And it was nice to be here at the coast again.
Yeah, and I have to say, you're opening in another city very soon, but maybe we're not allowed to say anything
No,
quite
no,
yet.
no, no. I'm about 45 days to go. Black and Blue in Toronto. And it's, originally I'm from Toronto.
Yeah.
So I found my way here in Vancouver 20 years ago, or more, 97. I was the chef of Joe Forti's just next door. So that's a lot, 25 years ago.
Wow.
And I've been trying for years to open a restaurant in Toronto. So I always said, if I'm gonna come back to Toronto, I needed the perfect location.
Which is where?
We got the perfect location. We got the TSX, the Toronto Stock Exchange. They moved because they needed higher fiber optics, so they had to leave the building and go to a different brand new building that was being built downtown. And we kind of slide in. It was in the middle of COVID. Everybody hand off.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, what is the worst thing? If I go bankrupt, so you're gonna come after me? I lost everything anyway, so might as well just go for it. And we went for it. We passed through COVID, and we're very blessed, and we're opening a gorgeous restaurant in Toronto.
Congratulations.
Well, to our viewers, look for Black and Blue in Toronto in late spring. And thank you.
Early spring.
Early spring.
Early spring.
And we should say Black and Blue next door.
Yeah.
Great patio too, great bar, great food. Listen, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank
you.
From Coast, I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapins.
See you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community. Don't forget to check out past episodes and individual interviews, all on the Our City Tonight YouTube channel. While in Whistler, Our City Tonight stayed at the Blackcomb Lodge, serving guests in the heart of the village since 1980. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.